Good morning. Peace and blessings. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Good morning. All right, you all. Today's a Saturn day. How's everybody feeling? The moon is in Leo. We just had a new moon a few days ago in Cancer. And I feel like this Cancer energy is I feel like the deepest transformations happening for me personally through this Cancer energy, because Cancer is our childhood, where we get to come back to those early foundational belief systems and look at them from a new perspective. We are in a constant state of recycling energy. We also get new energy in, but it's really good to be able to, take things that were once used one way and begin to use them in a different way. Saturn is currently at the 24th degree of Aquarius. The 24th degree is the degree of humility. And humility means recognizing that you are a part of a whole. You and your function is supporting something beyond yourself. It supports yourself, but you being who you are meant to be adds something greater to the collective, to the experience of those around you. Like for me, for instance, if I wasn't doing the thing that I'm doing, studying the way that I'm studying, being who I'm told to be from inside, sharing the way, teaching, if I wasn't doing that, that would have a great impact on everyone else's life. First of all, I would be out of alignment. I would be somewhere suffering because I wouldn't be doing or using the energy in a way that it needs to be used. Now, let me say that there's not just one way to use the energy. This is just the way that Spirit but I could have used this in all sorts of different ways. But if I wasn't using it, it would impact the people around me. If I wasn't doing what I'm meant to be doing, it would have a negative impact on the people around me. And so Saturn, humility, is this energy of understanding that you are connected to everything around you and you are necessary. The way you function is having an impact, right? The way you are being and thinking is not only impacting you, but it's impacting everyone around you. And that's not to say that you need to be codependent or people pleaser, because that's not what this is about. This is about your authenticity. Like, this is about you being your authentic self. And sometimes being your authentic self means being able to say, no, thank you. And the person that you say no to needs to hear a no. They need to have the experience of that which is generated through you. And sometimes the experiences that we generate through ourselves for others are things that are undesirable, are things that people don't want, because that is Saturn. It's about discipline and structure and all of that kind of stuff. And so when we understand the laws of the universe and how everything is serving to further, everything has a function, then you can really be in the truth and the authenticity of who you are without the doubt, the fear, the shame, the guilt, all of that sort of stuff. I remember when Aquarius is the energy that rules friends. It's really not friends. It's honestly people who are aligned with you, who are going where you're going. And that can sometimes mean friends, but it doesn't always mean friends. And when I was I've shared with you guys for a long time, I was in a relationship with somebody from the time that we were 10 and 11 years old until we were 50, almost, 50 something. And when I started looking at the configuration, the construct of the relationship and how it was functioning, I started to realize that I was actually hindering the other person from growing their own legs and growing their own feet. It was me that was actually that was creating the codependence, because I was doing all of this kinds of work and we were so close. It gave them the illusion that they were also doing the work. It gave me the illusion that they were also doing the work, and they were not. This path is not their path, at least not at this time, and not in the way that mine's is. And so Spirit said to me, you are the problem here, and not in a way to make myself feel bad, but like understanding that if I was in a story that they were doing something to me, or literally, you are what I was doing, how I was just being myself naturally was infringing upon their own authentic development. They weren't coming to their own discoveries in ways that were actually true to them. They were coming to their discoveries in ways that were accessed through me, and that wasn't for the highest and best of me or them. And so, we have all these conversations about relationships where it's like, this person is negative, or no, everything is about the natural affinity. It either is in a flow organically through nature, through nature's laws, and how we relate to one another on the unseen level. That's either working, that's either flowing, or it is not. And what happens is, when it's not flowing, we start to create narratives that make one or the other person wrong, yourself or the other, and that's not the case. The energetic flow just is no longer has an affinity. It's just not in sync. And this is what Saturn and Aquarius is about. It's about aligning yourself to things and people and organizations and ways of being that really are in sync and flow with who you truly are. And so that means you have to go through your life and your relationships. You have to, this is why I create the courses. This is it, right? Because with Saturn, it's like you have to look at your relationships and how they got formulated. What in you? So I know for me, right, when I was a little girl, I had this interesting experience. It was really interesting because I was always very mystical. I could always see what other people couldn't see. I always could, and I could really feel what other people couldn't feel all the time, right? And I could feel that people were saying one thing and actually feeling something else. So I could feel the duality. Maybe I would call that a lie, but it confused me, is what I'll say. It confused me. So because of that, because I could feel one thing and people would say something else, I sort of doubted myself. I started to doubt myself and fear my own feelings and question and because I didn't understand that I was seeing something. I was seeing people's shadow. That's what it was. I was seeing people's shadows. And when I would say something, because sometimes I would, before I understood that people didn't want to hear it, I would say things like, oh, well, what about this? Or you said that? Or what about when you, and they would shame me. You talk too much. You're this too much. Don't do that. That's wrong. That's none of your business. So that's when I stopped saying things. I stopped acting like, I stopped honoring what was really my truth and my power. And what happened in that, because I stopped honoring it, I really started, it turned into self-loathing and self-hatred because I wasn't allowing my authenticity to flow any longer. So all of the things that I was seeing externally became backed up in my own consciousness and psyche, and I had to then learn how to work those things out on my own because I didn't have the courage, or I was being punished for being in my authentic self. And so I had to figure out another way to process that. And what it created, like I said, was confusion and fear and self-loathing and low self-esteem and no confidence. And so one of the things that it's important for us to do is to be able to understand where those patterns and behaviors are coming from, where they're sourced. And this is what Saturn is. Saturn is understanding the cause and effect. What was the original cause? And at the 24th degree, it's about it's really understanding your contribution to the collective. Understanding your contribution to the collective and understanding the value of it. You have to understand that it is important and significant for you to be who you are meant to be. If you cannot be who you are meant to be, then you are creating a deficit. You are unintentionally, unconsciously creating a deficit in your own energetic field and in the fields of everyone else. And this is what karma really is. This is what it is. And it's something that you have to contend with. I'm so annoyed with the fact that my scarf, okay, great. It's something that you will have to contend with. It's not something that you get to just function around and tell yourself stories like, oh, this is wrong, or they did that. That's not what's really happening. You think that you're just telling yourself that based upon what you were conditioned in your childhood. But that's not really the truth. The truth is that you've been conditioned and you're telling yourself the story of your conditions. And if you do the work to heal and transmute the energy and get to the core of it, what it really is, you can discover what it's really meant to be and start to function from that way. And that's why I invite you into the classes. That's why I invite you into, getting coaching and doing things like that, because it's so subtle. Like I said, I didn't realize that, I was in a friendship with someone believing that, I believed that we were aligned. I believed that it was okay that I could be so close to someone who wasn't in the same space with me emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And just when the lockdowns hit, I was able to see, oh, this person is really carrying a lot of fear. This person is really deeply afraid of their power, where I was like, okay, this means that I have to hold a real understanding of how I'm going to create health and wellness, the things that I'm going to do. This person was doing something very opposite. Not wrong for me, but not wrong for them. But the two were so opposite that they could not exist in the same frequency. I couldn't be so close to someone where I'm saying, okay, I'm going to make sure I take black seed oil every day and do my breath work and ground my feet in the energy and make sure I change my diet. And they're saying, I need to get my shots, I need to do this. Those are two different frequencies. We couldn't exist in the same reality. And many of us are holding on to connections because we were conditioned a certain way as children that is keeping us out of our true, authentic power to be who we are, because we are either shrinking ourselves to make others feel comfortable, or we are at odds with ourselves because we have not seen a picture. We've not seen someone doing and being who we are here to be. So we are at odds with it because it doesn't seem viable, because you've not experienced it before. And this stuff, when you do this creates karma. It creates karma. And the minute you begin to call yourself forward on it and do the work to heal it, it begins to go away. There's this Bible verse that says, I will restore the years that the locusts have eaten. And that is really the truth. Like, when you come into your recognition of who you are and you begin to live that way, all of it gets restored. You don't lose anything, because nothing can be lost. And detaching is challenging. Oh yes, it is. It's totally, that is the challenge, because you have to begin to function in a way that you didn't even know that you should have functioned. I feel like that's the greatest challenge for me as a black person is because I have been in a world that has had me at war inside of myself. Woo, these little spiders, they just be coming for me. I have been unconsciously at war inside of myself for my entire life. And I feel a little weird now because of the spiders. But white spiders are actually really good luck. So I've been at war with myself. And so now I'm asking myself, what does it feel like to be at peace within yourself? What does it feel like to know that you're completely safe, that nothing can get you, that nothing can harm you, that nothing has ever been able to harm you? What does that feel like? And so I just am exploring the possibilities, and it will show up because it's a process of undoing what we've created. It's all about doing the work on ourselves. It is so true. And the hard work and the perseverance. Absolutely. And I feel really fortunate. The moon work that I've created is a process. Every month we go from one new moon to the full moon, and we undo the frequencies of the patterns and replace them with new ones every month. That is what I teach in the moon work, and the rituals. And who's on here who's in the moon work? And if you are, share about the value, like how it really benefits you, because this work is deeply life transformational, because it's working with the negative charge, which is the moon, and the positive charge, which is the sun. And so when we understand these energies internally within us, then we can always gauge where we are with ourselves. How is this serving me? Where do I need to shift? And then the rituals and the new mindset is easily installed because we are doing the work every month with the cosmology. This is the work. This is it. It's like really learning to adhere to the cosmological cycles. And when you do that, it literally helps you unravel things that have been stuck deep in your karma for generations. Things go away. Miss Black Awareness, she says, it's been working for me, Monique, working on shit I didn't know was there to work on. Yes, because we've been so conditioned, we function over it. We have addictions. We do things to protect ourselves and our psyches. We hide stuff from ourselves. So we have stuff inside of us that comes from our mothers and our grandmothers and our great grandmothers, and it's not going anywhere, you guys. It doesn't go anywhere. It's waiting for you. And when you don't deal with it, it's fine. You don't have to, because when you have children, they will deal with it. And if you don't have children, when you die, leave this body and come back again, you will start off again where you left off. But in the meantime, while you're still here, you are still carrying that stuff, and you will continue to experience the frustrations and the fears and the doubts because they're stored in your body and your psyche. You cannot escape them, especially for women. Men have a little more physical force and power. Men can actually fake it more than women can, but women cannot, because women are producers of reality. So whatever is inside of us has to come out. That's why you may as well, you know what I mean? It's like when you have a kitchen full of dishes, right? You know that you're going to have to wash those dishes. If you don't wash them, they're not going to get washed. That's the truth of being a woman. You cannot function over this stuff. It has to get addressed, always. Okay, so she said, or we're literally just ignorant. We experience these energies and believe they are external and not representative of our internal, our internal thought, our emotional process. Absolutely. But they are. Everything is internal, you guys. That's the trick. They have gotten us to believe that things are external, and nothing is external. It's so hard. Everything is energy. Everything is energy, and all energy is sourced inside of you first, and then it shows up externally. And once it shows up externally, it's too late. You can't do anything about it. When it's internal is when you can actually change it. Sheena said, love you, Monique. You helped me so much in the reading and the full moon Scorpio ritual. I think I'm ready to start the monthly ritual work. That sounds beautiful, Shayna. I would love to have you. That has often been my experience. Ha! And the old saints used to say that in the church. Everything up in you got to come out. That's right. That's right. And you have the ability, through the work that I'm offering, you could do it on your own because it can be done, but through the work that I'm offering, to go inside of yourself each month and uncover what needs to be dealt with in the shadows. We all have a shadow. We're all holding stuff that has traveled with us from the time we were born, and sometime for many lifetimes. It's all here. And when you start to realize that the things that you're experiencing externally are really cultivated through your own perception and perspective, that is the power center. That is where the power comes from, and that is what begins to transmute. And literally everything changes. And the universe then begins to conspire for you, because the universe is like, okay, they understand, they see that things are from the inside out. So then, because you start paying attention internally, it starts to show up externally in a way that you can actually change it and manage it. It doesn't show up trying to knock you fucking out anymore. It shows up like, okay, since you're listening, here, we're going to do this now. How about this? But when you're not doing it that way, it shows up as illness and anxiety and depression and divorces and breakups and money challenges and, the government beginning to do all this crazy stuff because we're not dealing with our inside stuff. I'm telling you, white supremacy is the motherfucking most ingenious thing ever. These motherfuckers created something that have us so out of alignment and so in the palms of their hands. They have us in the palms of their hands, and they're not equipped. Like, they're not even equipped to do what we're capable of. But the fact that they have us confused and lost makes us putty in their hands. Makes us putty in their hands so they can manipulate us to do what they want us to do, because they keep us afraid, because they keep us scared. They keep us not understanding that this universe is magnetic, right? And so now it's like, oh, food shortages and shortages of this and shortages of this. But if you understand the law of abundance, you can never be in a shortage. You cannot. It's just not how it works. I'm sorry. This is driving me nuts, right? Okay. When you understand the law of abundance, and that you are connected through the law of abundance through the melanin that is within you, everything will come to you if you trust it and allow it. But when you don't trust it and you feel like you got to go out and make things happen, you'll know what you have to do. You'll be directed. You'll know, go get this, go. But otherwise, things just show up, right? So whatever you need is going to be magnetized to you, or it's going to come to you through divine contract, right? And when you understand that, your reality is not their reality. So all this food shortage shit don't mean nothing to you. There is no water shortage. There is no money shortage. None of that is real, because we are in an abundant universe, and the laws of this universe govern the natural cycles, which are abundant. There is always enough. There is always enough. And so it's literally the opportunity to really begin to question everything. Okay, so the moon today, so we have Saturn in Aquarius at the 24th degree, understanding your contribution, right? And then the moon is in opposition to that in Leo. So the moon in opposition to Saturn is not because Leo is a lovely energy, but the moon in opposition to Saturn, and Saturn is conjunct, is really like your childhood fears. The things that you were, let me see how to talk about this. Okay, so Saturn in Aquarius retrograde is giving you the opportunity to really access your blueprint, to remember who you really, really are, for real. And that takes courage, you guys. That takes real courage. Because it means that you're going to have to be willing to abandon everything you think you know is true, and let go of these ideals, these stories, these narratives, to come to the blueprint. And for me, what I'm discovering in the blueprint is that It's like understanding how you function. Like what they did was they sent us to school and they taught us English and these ways of thinking and being, and all of that stuff is lies, and it all put us in their putty in their hands, right? And what we want to do is begin to question and ask, who am I really? Who am I really at my core? What's really true? What's really true about what I'm supposed to do? What's really true about how I should function? What's really, really, really true? And it will mean breaking ranks with what you have thought is true. It will mean breaking ranks, and it is scary, like I said. But when you tap into your higher self, because at that level is the higher self. And when I tap in and go, Spirit, show me, literally, I am met. You do not have to be afraid, honestly. But you are going to have to try. You're going to have to take a risk. You're going to have to, a small thing. You do a small thing, right? A small thing that won't cost you a lot, that will help you understand that you are safe. So I used to always say, okay, well, if this is true, then let me see a hummingbird. And I would see hummingbirds fly around like, okay, this is true. Then because I would get a signal from the universe, I would know, step in. So the moon in Leo is what is ruled by Cancer, and the sun is in Cancer right now. So the moon in Leo is really charging us, charging up our energy, our power to our authentic true self. And you might only be able to access tiny, tiny glimpses of it, or nothing at all, but that's okay. Just know that the asking is going to lead to answers. It always does, you guys. Don't give up. When we doubt it, we throw it away. Doubt sends you back to the end of the line. So if you have doubt, you have to do the work to heal your doubt. That's the thing. If whatever is blocking you from accessing your truest power, whatever it is, if it's doubt or fear, then those are the things you have to work on, because those are the things you have to deconstruct in your psyche. If you have doubt, you have to deconstruct it through the classes that I've created, through the work, through the rituals. You have to deconstruct the fear, deconstruct the worry, deconstruct the shame. You have to deconstruct it. And as you deconstruct it, then the truth is revealed. I really do wish there was a quick fix, you guys. I do. I've tried them. They don't work. They don't. And that's why I'm a Virgo, because I had to understand that you can't get around this fast. You have to do it, or do it when you're ready. But you can't not do it. Let me say this. If you're not ready to do it, that is fine. Do what you're doing. But it's not going away. And when you're ready, then do the work. But understand the difference. Ask and be connected is what I hear from what you're saying. Yes, exactly. That is right. So like I was sharing with you guys in the last couple of weeks, I've been noticing that I've had a block in my will center, my will to my heart chakra. And as I've been noticing the block, I can feel the block. And I've been asking Spirit, show me how to open this. And I've been doing various things, taking cacao, doing morning breath work, various things. And it's been opening more and more and more. And then Spirit sent me this person who did Reiki, a white man who I would have never opened my energy field up to. But it was because I knew the Spirit, because I've been listening and asking, right? And he opened up my field. Is open now. I can feel it. Last night I can feel the energy coming through. I'm like, oh, it's a real thing. Miss Black Awareness, that's why I appreciate how you teach. I think we get caught that spiritual work is extreme when sometimes it's as simple as being willing to show up and listen for what the moment's task is to do. Exactly. And I feel like that was the thing that kept me from doing my spiritual work, is because I really wanted bells and whistles, because this American narrative is all about drama and feel good and all this sort of stuff. So I wasn't willing to do the small incremental things that give me the actual power to do the big dramatic things. But you have to build it. You can't cheat your way through it. You have to act. That's why, when you go to a concert and you see somebody who might be a accomplished pianist, they started playing ding, 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 ding. They had to do the work. They had to learn the chords and the keys, and they had to build until they were ready to be able to. By the time you see it, they've been doing the work for a long time in order to execute at that level. And this is true for us to be our authentic selves, to be God in our lives. We have to do the internal work, the minutia, the mundane, the chop wood, carry water, small things that will get us to the things where we can do that become miraculous. And guess what? Here's what I want to tell you. It all feels the same. That's the thing. When I do the smallest little thing, I can feel the reward of yes, I can feel it, and it is valuable and it is worthy. And when I first started doing this work, it was really small, but now I work with people and I'm having big breakthroughs and they're having big breakthroughs. I was working with a client who had some legal stuff going on, and I was working with her for a year. She's like, they're trying to do this now. They're trying to do this now. And I'm like, okay, we know that we create everything from within. So let's go inside and let's have another conversation about what you're saying they're doing. And when did you first start realizing that? Oh, when I was 4, I did this. Yes. Okay. So let's do the rituals on that. And by the time the case was over with, they threw it out. It was done. She got hardly nothing because she healed it from within her. I'm telling you guys, all this shit is on the fucking inside, you guys. It's not external. And when we think it's external, we actually aren't using our power. When we're doing it from the external, you ain't doing shit. You have to heal it inside of yourself. That's why if you're in a relationship and your relationship is suffering and you break up and then you go get in another relationship, and then soon that second relationship will be suffering what the last relationship was suffering with, because you didn't heal it from the inside. And you break up that one, you go get in another relationship, but soon that relationship will have that too. Why? Because you didn't heal it from the inside. You thought it was an external thing. You thought it was the person. But it's internal. Everything is energy and everything is projected externally. Lotus, I have been told numerous times that it's from the inside and it's really hard to deal with. It is, but it's not going to get any easier to deal with. If you don't start dealing with it, it's not fucking going anywhere. I understand. You're right. But the longer we delay, the harder it gets. And then you die not doing the work, and you just come back in a child's body with really hard work to do. So, which is why I really feel like I was born into the family that I was born into, because my conditions were insurmountable. They occurred as insurmountable. And the reason they did is because I didn't do the work in the last lifetime. But the last lifetime I didn't do it because that's not what's been going on in our reality. We've been in the dark ages, right? So we couldn't do the work. So I had to come back into this lifetime with a situation that fucking kicked my ass, that I had to do the work internally to transmute externally. And I've done it. And it's taken me 53 years. And so be it. That doesn't even fucking matter, because like I said, spirit will restore the years that the locusts have eaten away. So in a day, it's all restored. It doesn't even matter. It's like the work never even was there, because what happens when you do it is that it starts to pay off. All right, y'all. I'm getting ready to go. So be good to yourselves today. The Neptune retrograde class, we're not having our first live class until until July 11th. So you guys can come and register for that. It's still available. That's about healing our subconscious, which is a tremendous amount of power. It's $33 a month between now and December 3rd. $33 a month. The work is a little different. It's not as heavy, so it's not as great of a financial contribution because it's not requiring me to do as much work. All right, you all. Peace and blessings. I love you. Talk to you later.